Hey, good to see you.
How are you? Jessica Lowndes is in the studio. Jessica Lowndes is in the building. What's up, Jessica? How are you? Good to see you again.
Hi, nice
Wait,
to
did
see
I
you
meet her in
again.
person last time?
Were you here?
No, I was on the
in
West
New
Coast.
York.
Yeah, we were in New York, but I don't know if you were there.
I was in California, I
Yeah, you
think.
were here.
Yeah, I wasn't here. I got to speak to you through the, studio ISDN and everything. So it's a pleasure to meet you in person.
Nice
Let's
to meet
welcome
you.
back on the West Coast this time, Jessica Lowndes.
And this is you.
This is me.
That spot just turned off. Oh, no.
Spot said, I'm done. How is it hearing your song? Does it,
it
ever
makes
get?
me so happy.
Does
Do you
it?
see how big my smile is
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now?
It's so funny. We had a rock star, Dee Snider, on our show a few weeks back, and I noticed the same thing. When we played "I Want to Rock,"
Yeah.
that song is like 40 years old, and it's still like he was still way into it. It was so cool to see.
Well, it's your
You know?
art, it's your product.
Yeah. I'm so happy to see that you're happy about it.
I'm very, very happy.
That's awesome.
And I'll be, you know where I see Jessica Lowndes most? I'll be honest, not in anything cool, not in something you would think is cool, but there's a Hallmark movie that is playing on non-fucking stop that you're on.
This is true. Yes.
Every day this thing is on. I mean, what rotation is this on? Is this like every few days?
I know that it did really well on our premiere night. We
Yeah.
were the second most show on TV. I don't even know how we beat Westworld. I have no idea, but I guess everyone
the
loved
movie?
it. The movie, A December Bride on Hallmark,
Wow.
was the number 2 watch show
That night.
that night. And it's just so they keep running it every day. And
You could be flipping through the channels at any point of the day. And
It's
you're like,
on.
oh, there's Jessica Lowndes. There
How
she
cool
is.
is that? Yeah, it's so
awesome.
random.
It's so fun, and it's so different from anything I usually do. Like
And such a different audience, but just such a lot of exposure too,
and-
right? Like
yeah,
a weird
and
thing. Like
so fun.
you're doing
I'm
these fun
happy.
you're doing these fun music videos, and
You
you're
cried?
doing the,
You
doing
cried?
other
Did you
type.
cry? Did you cry?
I got very
Did
emotional.
you get
emotional?
This is
And
December
it's a
Bride.
tearjerker.
It's a tear. They're all tear jerkers.
Yeah.
Are you able to cry and watching your own projects? Like watching yourself in a scene? Like, can you cry and get that into it, or no? Are you so removed from it because you were so involved?
I mean, I'm always cast as the girl that's usually crying. I'm like a damsel in distress, or I'm a psychopath,
Do you feel
or
bad
I'm a
for your
drug
character?
addict. But watching it back, I don't get emotional. It's just it's always a weird thing to watch yourself cry on camera. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm ever gonna get used to it.
Do you think you have a cute cry face? Because guys judge that, you
I
know.
mean,
Do you judge?
you tell me.
Hold on. When you,
Tune into A December Bride.
I have it.
well,
I
you
have
have
one-
the terrible theory that
I
if
avoid
she
sappy
cries, that
stuff.
means you won the fight. If she
Ah,
cries, that's a terrible
old,
theory.
That's an old sexist theory of mine, but I still stand by it. But yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. We judge the first time we see a girl's cry face, like a real cry face. Is your real cry face the same as the one we see on screen?
I well, hopefully.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We do notice it and take it in, like, ooh, that's the face, huh?
Oh, that's-
Got it?
All
If she
right,
gets
well, you
Yeah.
gotta tune in.
I
to
will, I
December
will.
Bride.
I will. It's hard.
And
I avoid things he recommends. It's nothing personal. That's all.
Yeah, if I say anything, it's just automatic fucking
I need
tune
to
out for him.
discover it on my own, you know? Do you notice when guys cry? How do you judge a guy when he cries? Do you look at it as, there's all these articles that say that's strength, that shows strength. How do you feel when you see with a guy and he starts to cry for the first
it
time?
really depends.
Really?
Yeah, it depends.
Rich
On
bites
what?
his knuckle.
Yeah, it's like why is he crying?
Yeah. Well, it depends, I guess. Yeah. What would be an okay reason for a guy to cry versus really? Come on, stop being such a wimp. what would be a good reason for a guy to cry? Could a guy cry at a movie? Could a guy cry at a TV show?
That's kind of cute. Yeah, that's
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's
A
Do you
good
cry
episode of
during
This
TV
Is Us.
shows?
Yeah, I cried. I think I shed a tear at an episode of This Is Us
Yeah.
recently. It's a good show.
It gives you that little tickle in your nose, that
Right,
feeling, and then
right.
you just
Now, do you judge
Yeah.
his cry face?
That's a very good question. I haven't really, I gotta pay more attention, I guess.
To the
the
cry
cry
face.
face.
What's your cry face?
I don't even know. I can't. I'm not an actor. I
That's
can't.
what's funny about
I
it. She
know.
has to see hers on TV all the time.
I know.
That's
and especially,
weird.
well, the movie that's coming out tomorrow, I'm crying almost the whole film.
Right.
It's a pretty dramatic.
Oh, we saw the trailer.
Story,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
intense.
Well, yeah,
we don't know how to
difference.
say the
There's a
movie
difference between
title,
like
but-
happy Hallmark Christmas cry versus this is terribly scary looking.
Yes, it is. It's terrifying.
Now, how do you pronounce Abattoir?
Abattoir.
Abattoir?
It depends.
Now,
Abattoir.
now, in this movie, your family's killed. and
Yes.
you're doing this like little.
Jesus.
It's a weird investigation. Like weird shit happens. They start removing rooms from houses. Explain what's going on here because it looks scary as hell.
It's very scary. It's the same director from a lot of the Saw movies.
Oh, and they pointed
Very
that out right in the
fascinating.
trailer.
Oh, yeah,
Like from
it's
Saw 2, 3, 4. Like so they
so you
made,
have an idea.
they want
You
people
get
to know.
a gist of
They
how
want they
scary
want you
it
to know.
is. So I play Julia Talbin. I'm a real estate reporter, and I've always wanted to be put on crime. And unfortunately, I find myself now in my own crime investigation because I've just received a call that my entire family's been murdered. And so I'm trying to figure out what's happened and who's done it. And it turns out that it's this man, Jebediah Crone, who is buying houses and he rips out the kill room in which he kills the people and then he
Right.
sells them again. And now he's living in this messed up, haunted house in the middle of the forest of all the rooms of the
All
dead.
the kill rooms.
All
That's
the kill
That's
rooms.
creepy as could be.
It is so scary.
Ugh.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's a 1940s film noir based in modern day. So for me, it was super challenging because I had to do this rapid fire dialogue,
Mhm.
which I'm not used to doing. And I'm saying things that I would never usually say. And so to find the balance between filming it like 1940s and still having depth and showing emotion, it was definitely.
How do you get
tricky.
ready for
Yeah, well,
something
hold on.
like
How many times do you mess that up, or what's a bad amount of times to mess it up where everyone on the set is like, oh, God damn it, Jessica, come on. Like what? Because I heard Jeffrey Dean Morgan in an interview recently because he's on The Walking Dead, and
Yeah.
that Negan character has a lot of like minute long like
give
here's
monologues
what's
the
going
day
on,
before.
Rick. We're gonna, and it's it's like a long ass monologue.
Yeah.
And I mean, you mess these things up.
I have a pretty good memory. I feel like I've been acting for so long that it's like a muscle, and
Mhm.
I learned a lot. Even being on 90210 for 5 years, I feel like we were given rewrites on the spot, and so I've gotten used to memorizing things that aren't necessarily the easiest things to say.
It's a skill
But-
you've developed, right?
Yeah, but it's tricky. It was very tricky trying to learn it all before like filming, and we were doing night shoots, which was really tough. So we'd start at 5 p.m. and go until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh.
So I would just take all day and kind of learn that night's material.
What's
So-
a bad
I would,
day
I would
like,
feel
though?
I would feel so nervous though. Think about this, like related to sports. You know
Okay.
when you're playing, think of baseball growing up when you played baseball. If you made an error or something went wrong,
I didn't make errors, bro.
I know you're the best. You're the greatest.
I mean, I'll try to. for
I'll
the
try
sake-
to let me try to relate
Okay.
for the sake of the story. But at that point, you're like, oh fuck. I mean, I hope I don't make another error. Like there's like a weird pressure on you. So I can imagine when you're on set, filming. I'm sure a scene with some effects and everything. Like you don't
Yeah.
want to mess up
You don't want to mess
because then
up.
they got to
There's a
set
lot-
everything up
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. Sometimes you have one take, especially if it involves like breakaway glass or some kind of stunt, or if they only have one of something and you have to like rip it or whatever. It's like you have one take.
Have you ever gotten yelled at? Like really yelled at on set?
I haven't.
That's
Is that
awesome.
a good thing? Yeah.
I got yelled
no,
at
one
once.
no one yells at pretty girls. They only
Hey,
yell.
hey, you had one take, you blew it, right? I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
These guys, these crazy
Replace
Hollywood
the glass. God damn it.
God damn it, Jessica, you knew you had to nail this one, right?
I actually thrive though under those high pressure situations.
Oh,
When
okay.
I know that there's only one shot or one opportunity for it, I have to. I love that.
Ah, this ties back to our earlier discussion of ever seeing Red. I saw Red the one time our first boss yelled at me
And
in
called you a
public.
dummy.
He's like, "You dummy," or something like that. And I was
Oh,
like,
no.
"What the fuck?" I wanted to punch him in the face because I called. We're doing a red carpet,
Yeah.
and I called the girl like the wrong name, like.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And he yelled at me real bad, right? Like
Yeah.
got in my face, and I was so upset by that. So good for you. It never happened.
Never
You're a
getting yelled at.
professional.
Hey, Jessica, something else I wanted to bring up while you're here. I'm remembering. It was what? Was it last year? Time is flying. The little fun stunt with Jon Lovitz that you pulled.
Oh my
that
god!
was April. It was April.
Was that this year?
Fools.
Okay, yeah, that was this year. And I remember immediately
But
wondering, like,
that didn't come out on April 1st, did it?
I did it a week before. Just
Okay,
to throw
yeah.
people
Yeah.
off.
Right. That was so great.
Thank you.
So true.
True.
That's the ticket. We're
He's
Jon
amazing.
Lovitz. You know, we bought into it. I mean, everybody did.
and even people that were in the video, and
Yeah.
my family who already
Yeah.
knew about the video
yeah.
were concerned. And but for me, I shot Hawaii
By the
Five-O
way,
with him.
really great butt cheek in that photo.
Thank you so much.
Great butt
Thank
cheek
you.
placement.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was our wallpaper for a few months, right?
I remember. Do you remember thinking, if this is not a joke? Oh, Lovitz, huh?
You're
Like I
like,
remember
"Damn,
thinking,
he
like,
must be hung or something.
it sort of confused the hell out of me for like a good week until
Yeah.
I was like, because there's a party. It's like, oh, maybe they're in love. Who knows? Then I'm like, wait a minute, what is she? I mean, he's a nice guy, but
But
she want that? Like, I remember
he's such a funny guy, but is there a part of him where he's like, hey, well, maybe what's so odd about me with her? Like,
Yes,
yeah, is there a weird thing like that?
Did he think it was like, well, where's the funny? This is realistic.
We shot a Y5O together a year ago. So I think having that breadcrumb trail really helped because one of my favorite paparazzi moments is of him taking pictures of me in the pool. I like designated him as my selfie photographer.
Yeah.
And so he was taking pictures of me in Hawaii. And he was also just so supportive of the music. So for a year, I would always send him music stuff. And so I wrote a treatment because I haven't signed a deal yet. I've done the whole thing independently. So I sent him a treatment and I asked him if he would be in it and work for free. And he said yes. And it was the first time he's worked for free since he was 8 years old, he said.
Wow.
And we shot it in my friend's backyard. I borrowed my friend's Bentley.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was so fun. And so for April Fools, I came up with this idea with my manager. I wanted to do something just to show people what a goofball I am because I'm playing such emotional characters and always crying.
Listen, it got a lot of fun attention. It
It
got
was-
a lot of
It
attention.
was really fun. And it was only 4 days on social media.
Does that
Just
bother
kind
you in
of-
a way? Like here you are, you know, you're doing movies, TV shows, and everything, and the thing that gets the most attention is your funny prank. Like, is there a party that's like that's awesome, but at the same time, it's like, oh, really? Like that's
It's awesome, and it also just shows how ridiculous the whole thing is.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just turning the tables on the press and gaming the system, and we were trending over ISIS. I don't even know how that's possible on Yahoo.
wow.
And like in everything I did, like even the engagement ring photo was pixelated and it's from the Google homepage.
Yeah, she did prove that you can't believe all this shit that we read.
Was
Like
that
you,
Love It?
you
I
mentioned
remember
Kim
you-
and Kanye getting a divorce. That might be just another reason to get headlines.
But you
today.
sitting in your car with a guy's hand on your like inner thigh. Was that his hand, or was that
No.
just a random stock
No,
photo?
It was my Pilates instructor's 80-year-old husband. And
That's an 80-year-old hand.
Yeah, I asked him, I was like, hey, do you mind if your husband comes out to the car and puts his hand on my inner thigh? And
That was the first erection
that
that
was
guy
the
got since he was
first-
60.
I don't know. My Pilates instructor's pretty hot.
Oh.
But yeah, so I did that and that's how it started. I was like, there's a new man in my life. And every picture that I posted was from the music video. So it wasn't like I was lying.
Right,
and I
right,
was
right.
teasing it. And then when I put the quote that young cows like to eat, or old cows like to eat young grass, I thought that everyone would know that I was kidding, but they didn't.
Well, Jessica Lowndes, we're happy for you and excited
you.
about the new movie.
Abattoir in theaters, guys. We got to get going. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, arrivederci.
See you in the promised
Goodbye.
land.
Sorry, we have to break at 55. I lost track of time.
You're like, ah! Oh, I
Well,
wish we had
yeah,
more
what-
time.
Yeah, shit. All right,
So
we'll,
nice to
we'll,
meet you.
we'll tweet out everything. We'll do.
But that video really was awesome. We're like, oh
Thank
shit,
you.
That was so
we
good.
Totally bought it.
I remember being like, then looking at Lovitz like, maybe he's more handsome than I think.
Oh my gosh.
I remember
Yeah,
we like
it
fought
was
about
totally
it. I'm like, dude, it's
analyzing-
possible.
I was like, what's
It's
going on here?
possible?
It's like the
Why is
world-
it not possible? Successful
That is funny.
guy.
No, but so
That's cool. So we're out here now. You
I
met
actually
in
looked-
New York.
I
but we were
actually
out here,
looked
yeah.
it up the other day because I flipped through and immediately I thought that might have been you, and I immediately did the December Bride IMDb like on my couch. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second, December Bride.
We,
It's like, oh wait, it is. I was
I
like,
wish we had time, but
I was like,
know
your
you-
face looks so familiar, and I'm like, who? I know that person.
Do you love one more than the other? Because I know you play piano and do music and all that stuff. You love. You do love them both.
Yeah.
Choosing is unfair.
It's
Like,
unfair.
oh, yeah.
It's like telling someone else's story and then telling my story.
Right. That's so cool.
The latest one, I didn't really get to talk about it, but I've started this new challenge called Take Your Makeup Off Challenge, which goes with the Underneath the Mask song.
Yeah,
And in the video, I'm like taking off my makeup, and it's like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
nominating women to take off their makeup. And
well, that's a good one
celebrate.
because a lot of women are. That is not
Is
a,
it
something
out
they
and
want.
about?
It's
Because
out,
let's
yeah, so you
retweet
can
it or
check
something.
it out,
Let's
yeah.
do something. Okay, cool.
And by the way, if you're in LA, you're always welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be
Yeah,
so
I
much
mean,
fun.
that'd be
Thank
super
you.
You're a lot of fun. Anytime
Then we
you want
just
to come by.
Bullshit instead of
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
This is really fun.
That's awesome.